0 and proceed. Thank you. 158.
158.
The South African Police Services in Gauteng seized 100 firearms and ammunition from a security company in Soweto.
Guys, something just happened in Soweto, South Africa, and honestly, the part that caught my attention is not even the number of guns. Now, police have seized 100 firearms from a security company in Soweto. Yes, you heard me, 100 firearms. And when you start wondering how a security company ended up with that many weapons, there's more to this story. According to police, this happened during a compliance operation under Operation Buyisa, which is focused on getting illegal firearms off the streets and also making sure firearm owners and security companies are actually following the law. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The security company's accreditation had reportedly been suspended. And when a securities company loses its accreditation, there are requirements concerning what should happen to the firearms in its possession. Police alleged that the person responsible failed to dispose of the firearms as required. And that's not all. Investigators also reportedly found that the company's firearms storage facility was not compliant with the requirements of the Firearms Control Act. So basically, you have a security company whose accreditation had been suspended, and then police walk in and find 100 firearms still there.
Police just raided a supposedly legitimate security company in Soweto, seizing a massive arsenal of 100 firearms. How did a professional business end up hiding a black market level weapons cache? The raid was executed by a national police task force hunting down illegal guns, known as Operation Buyisa. The firm landed on their radar after a massive bureaucratic red flag. Their official industry license to operate as a security company had been completely suspended. Once you lose that license, the law is incredibly strict. The company's leadership was legally required to safely dispose of every single weapon. Instead, they chose to go rogue and secretly hoard the entire arsenal. Worse, they stashed these weapons in a dark makeshift storage facility. Police discovered the room completely violated basic legal safety requirements, leaving the local community at risk. The massive stockpile has now been confiscated and removed from the streets. But this bust is far from over, and these guns aren't just being destroyed. Every single weapon is now undergoing rigorous ballistic testing in a police lab. Detectives need to know if this security company's hidden arsenal was actually used to commit other local crimes.
The South African Police Services in Gauteng seized 100 firearms and ammunition from a security company in Soweto. They say the company contravened the Firearms Control Act. The seizure forms part of Operation Buyisa, which aims to remove illegal firearms from circulation and ensure compliance with the act. SAP's spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Amanda van Wyk, joins us now for more on this. Colonel van Wyk, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What exactly were the prescripts that was contravened by the security company?
Well, a very good evening to you, Oliver. Thank you for having me. So as you said, that was Operation Buyisa that we carried out over the weekend. We've seized 100 firearms that we seized at this security company based in Soweto. So that is just ongoing efforts to remove illegal firearms from circulation. Also to ensure that lawful owners comply with the Firearms Control Act. So with that operation on Saturday, we established that the security company's PSiRA accreditation was suspended recently and that the responsible person failed to dispose of the firearms as required by law. So also, during that operation, we established that the storage facility of the security company does not comply with the Act. There are specific regulations that only talks to facilities and how firearms should be stored, and that particular company did not comply.
Yeah. The accreditation, the PSiRA accreditation that had been suspended, is it as a result of non-compliance, or is it a result of particular contraventions on part of the security company? I know you don't speak for PSiRA, but I would imagine that this was information that the operation would have been privy to.
Look, we haven't done diligence, so we followed up on the information we have, but I also want to add that with the Private Security Industry Regulation Act, it says that any person or business offering security services in South Africa must be registered, of which their accreditation has been suspended. But also, I want to add that operating without a PSiRA registration means that any firearm license that is tied to the business is considered invalid. But the reasons for their suspension, it forms part of further investigation. For now, we will not reveal what the matter there is. So it is still being investigated. I also want to add that these firearms that we seized, they will be subjected to ballistic tests for us to determine whether they have been used in the commission of serious crimes. So we leave nothing to chance. We want to make sure that we cover all corners.
Yeah. And just lastly and importantly, should the company then regain their license and become compliant, what happens to these firearms?
Now that are in our possession, there will be some loopholes that we can look into. We're following up on all of those matters for all of the contraventions. We can, for now, we also not rule out that further arrest will be made. For now, we have not arrested any person, but we will just follow up on the information we have for now. But we want to leave a message with lawful owners and that, you know, according to section 121A, it states that any person that contravenes or fails to comply with the act will be liable to, they are liable to penalties and even time in prison for contravening the act.
Yeah. Importantly, these weapons have been taken for ballistics testing. Is there suspicion that they might be linked to any or particular crimes?
Like I said, we leave nothing to chance. We want to make sure that these firearms are cleared. They may come back cleared, or they may come back with one or two linked to a crime. So we make sure that we cover all of our bases when we do investigations.
Police have seized 100 firearms and ammunition from a security company in Soweto for contravening the Firearms Control Act. The police spokesperson, Colonel Amanda van Wyk, says the company's accreditation had recently been suspended, but it failed to dispose of the firearms as required. The seizure forms part of Operation Buyisa, which aims to remove illegal firearms from circulation and ensure compliance with the Act.
The South African Police Service continues to intensify its efforts to combat the proliferation and misuse of firearms through targeted operations aimed at removing illegal firearms from circulation and ensuring strict compliance with the Firearms Control Act. Following a compliance inspection operation, members deployed under Operation Buyisa seized 100 firearms and ammunition from a security company based in Soweto, Johannesburg on Saturday, the 22nd of August for contraventions of the Act. According to a preliminary report, the security company's PSiRA accreditation was recently suspended, whereafter the responsible person failed to dispose of the firearms as required. The compliance inspection further revealed that the company's firearm storage facility does not meet the requirements stipulated in the Act. The seized firearms will be subjected to ballistic testing to determine whether they have been used in the commission of any crimes. Operation Buyisa, established in 2025, is a national intervention focused on removing illegal firearms from circulation while promoting compliance with the Firearms Control Act among lawful firearm owners.
Now, the obvious big question is, why were all these firearms still in the company's possession after the accreditation was suspended? And perhaps the even bigger question is, what those firearms may have been used for, because police aren't just taking the weapons away and leaving it there. The firearms are going to undergo ballistic testing. Yes, that means authorities will be checking whether any of these weapons may have been connected to crimes. And honestly, that's the part I'm watching closely, because imagine if those ballistic tests link even some of these firearms to serious crimes. That would take the story to a completely different level. For now, police have seized the weapons and investigations are continuing. But I have to say, 100 firearms in one security company is a lot of firepower, and considering that the company's accreditation had already been suspended, I think many people will be asking the same questions. How did the situation get to this point before the police stepped in? And what do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video informative, do not forget to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in my next one.